Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey.
I'm Tim, and we are dressed for winter. I think the winter temperatures for Arizona have arrived.
Okay, it's going to be 80 degrees today, but we did just pick up our niece from North Dakota.
Where they got snow.
Right, and she was like, I got off the plane, what'd she say? And my mood changed immediately, right? She's like, I came out here and it was sunny and it was warm, and she said my mood changed immediately. I
think it's getting dark early too.
Yeah, it's always, we take it for granted, but like, there's like 300 something days of bright, clear, sunny days here. Yeah. Right?
So, but nonetheless, we're cold, so we've got things we normally wouldn't wear.
Yeah, I mean, it is November. All right, we're going to first do a quick shout out to our Patreon, PayPal, and comment people who leave money in the comments for supporting the show. If you ever thought, hey, I like what's going on, how can I help, how can I be part of this? That's how you can help. You can be a financial supporter. There's a link below this video. It shows you how to do that.
So quick shout out to say thank you.
Thank you for that.
If you're wondering how to get the plant-based message out, by liking and subscribing, that helps, I guess, right?
That helps. That gets out the plant-based message for sure. All right, so you may have noticed Little Red's here. Oh. Little Red works at the hospital with Tim, right? Except Little Red's a little RN here, and he's got the day off. So he's kind of just hanging out here in the kitchen, helping us today. Little Red has so many outfits, and they are all courtesy of the Red Elf Shop on Etsy. Juliana over there is just amazing. She has so many outfits. They're just so cool. And it is that time of year, right?
To get these custom fit, that's why we brought them out so early.
Yeah.
If you wanted to check that out, or
it's November. I don't know if it's so early. Yeah.
This checks a box on the list.
But his name is on his little ID badge. It says Little Red RN. I mean, how custom is that? So give Juliana a shout out. There's a link below the video, and it'll take you right over there, and you can see what they've got for you.
All right, we got a lot of work ahead of us.
All right, so we are doing a meal prep video today. We've got to get some food ready for the coming week, and I just feel like we don't have anything. We don't have any fruit cut. I really need fruit.
Les gave us his list for what he wants.
I want pinto beans this week. I want my cheese sauce, because, you know, we make that for him, and then we're out of it, and then weeks go by, and we're like, we need to make this, and we don't, and he's like raiding the fridge for stuff, and he's like, I've got nothing to eat.
Okay,
right?
And thirdly, we bought lupini bean flakes. Let's see how it tastes in a recipe. We'll do that at the end of the video.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard about lupini beans. They're an Italian bean, and they're really high in protein.
High in protein, but without all the carbs or starch.
Well, we're not at the starch-free.
No, but as far as calorically dense, like there are other high-protein beans.
Right.
But they bring with them like so many calories.
Yeah.
This one doesn't. That's what makes this one different. So how I thought we could incorporate this would be doing the high-protein oatmeal overnight with our strong chocolate flavor.
Yeah, so we're gonna
give it a try.
We're gonna throw in a recipe, and we'll show you the difference it makes.
Yes.
All right, ready to get going?
Let's get going.
Let's get going. All right, so what do you got going on here?
Okay, so you know this video is gonna be about meal prepping, getting ready for the week. So I thought I'd show some ideas.
All right.
We cubed some red potatoes, washed them. I threw them in the air fryer, and then just some salt and pepper. A little garlic powder, a little onion powder.
I mean, look how good these are. We just threw these in the air fryer. And how long did you cook them? It was like $3.50 for like...
I think $3.75 for like 30 minutes, which is a little bit too long, but these are perfect. They turn out perfect.
I think they're perfect. Look at this. So we always just have, like, these are red potatoes. We always just have these on hand.
In the air fryer basket, we have a Breville, so it's kind of wide. I stirred it up once just to kind of toss it up. But anyway, this is now ready to go with Lex's cheese sauce, or if we're going to make a burrito of any kind with, what's the tofu scramble? So if we make a burrito with that, we can. This is one of the vegetables we can throw in. So if you make a tofu scramble burrito.
Yeah, I'm going to eat it with seitan. So I'm just
with some seitan.
Some barbecue sauce on it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, next up, we just took, I washed some sweet potatoes and put them on for about 40 minutes. I tossed them about at 20. I turned them over. But anyway, they're ready to go. So when these cool off, we can just peel off the skin really easy. Again, this is one of our go-tos with seitan.
Seitan, thank you.
Yes.
All right. So what are we going to... I see we got a cutting board out.
Yes. So next, I need to start prepping some fruit. So we are successful when we have some watermelon cut, some pineapple, and cantaloupe.
All right, so the pineapple is different from the watermelon cantaloupe. Why are you cutting the pineapple?
Okay, so this I'm going to slice up. We can have them as some slices. Other than that, I made juice with them to go with like turmeric, the shots that we make.
Yeah, so what is that called? That's like it's a morning thing you make me eat drink every day. What is it?
Yeah, you're going to laugh. I call them immunity shots, but they're really good for the for fat loss. is what my thinking is with that. Our gastrointestinal. I mean, it's got ginger. It has turmeric, pineapple. So I'm going to cut this, but I'm going to save the rind, and I'm going to be boiling that with my tea bags to make a tea.
Do we have a video on that?
Are you sorry that you asked?
No, I knew what it was already. So do we have a video on that already where you boil this and you make this rind?
Don't, because I didn't want to go like alternative medicine on this, but that is something we do.
Yeah. All right, so maybe we'll do a video on that. For now, we're just cutting this pineapple. We have a watermelon and a cantaloupe, and we'll tell you about those in a minute. But for now, we're just doing this pineapple. All right, let me grab this stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
So we know that it's
Can this go to compost?
No, we're gonna boil it.
Oh, we're boiling this?
Yes.
All right.
Joey doesn't realize because I usually do it. Okay, so we've got a couple different tools that just make this job easier. I am gonna save the centerpiece, some really good properties in there, so that'll go in that tea as well that I boiled down. So if some of you haven't seen this, you can get this on Amazon. I think Pampered Chef has one. But I'm simply kind of pushing down and turning at the same time.
And how do you know when it's done? It just gets to the bottom?
Yeah, you can kind of feel it. And I literally am just pulling it out. So this again is that rind part that I can either go in compost, or for us we're going to boil it over tea.
Let me get like a bowl or something because it's going to drip everywhere.
Perfect.
All right, so you're going to boil this at some point. We're just going to throw it in a sauce pot, right?
Perfect, yes.
So we like taking the rind, like we're boiling the rind?
Yeah, there's anti-cancer properties in this,
I think I just don't
want it to go to waste.
I don't want to know. So.
Along with that rind, I'm going to boil some roasted burdock tea here. I've also got some bitter melon tea. It's actually the melon that's just dehydrated, and we're going to rehydrate that with the pineapple. This is just something I come up with on my own. So
it definitely sounds like a Team Tim thing.
Yes. All right, so this is just one way I'm showing you to cut up or prep your pineapple. There are other instruments where you can literally push down like an apple core type thing. So
this thing here, we save this because we just throw this in smoothies, right?
You can use that in smoothies, or for us, we're going to use it in the tea. So I'm going to cut that up a little bit more.
Is the tea, is that what we're making in the pot?
Yes.
Okay.
So look at how nicely sliced these are. Okay, so I have this container. It's got a little height on it. That's going to go in the refrigerator, ready for us to use either in stir fry after a workout, in a smoothie. So ready to go. I'm going to quick give this board a rinse, and let's move on to our next. Okay, everything's rinsed off. Now let's go to our next object, and that's going to start with the watermelon here. I think we've showed all this before, but I just cut it in half. Boom! Looks great.
So why are we doing watermelon? Other than we love the taste.
No, it is anti-inflammatory. It's hydrating. This is one of those things after a workout. That's how I use it. What do you use it for?
Well, there's a reason I choose watermelon or cantaloupe. Do you remember what it is?
No.
Because 100 grams of it is 36 calories or something.
That's really low.
Yeah, so you can have 300 grams of this, which is a whole like IKEA thing for 100 calories. So you could fill up on this because it's mostly water.
Okay, that's awesome. And this is something you use as an afternoon snack. Am I right with that, Joey?
So I do pre-workout with this.
Oh, nice. That works.
It's natural sugar, right? And it's so low in calories, it just gives me energy at the gym. And I come home and have a protein shake. And look how juicy that is. Like, it's all water.
I mean, I kind of assume that everyone knows how to choose a watermelon, but we do knock on them, and we also look for a yellow bottom on it. So that's kind of what we do, but something to think about when choosing a watermelon. Okay, so half of this, we're done.
All right, we'll throw that in our compost pile.
Yes.
I mean, our pile going out to compost. We have a composter, so.
I mean, if we only knew where a hippopotamus was, and then we could. They love this kind of thing. So anyway.
Okay. So I know ahead of time that this container right here, that is 300 grams of watermelon for 100 calories. So we can just fill these up right here. I'll just leave them right over here. Well, to the side.
Perfect.
You fill those up, and I'll have them ready to go. All right, so we're just going to snap the lids on these, and these will be ready to go in the fridge all week long for my pre-workouts. It's going to be great.
Because you're going to work out in the afternoon.
Yes.
You know, this is that afternoon pre-workout snack, so that's great.
So I need that lid cover over there. Let's get this one on here, and then let's put this in the fridge. And we are ready to go with these things. Let's get this rinsed off and move on.
All right, next we have cantaloupe. I can already tell this is a little softer than I like, so we may only get 2/3 of this. That's good. But again, another slice right down the center here, and then we'll make smaller slices. We're gonna scoop out the inside here, and we'll be ready to go. All right, more stuff for the composter here. You know, with the trees and everything, the compost goes really fast. So I'll be filling up the composter between now and Christmas, and then mid-January. Hit the trees, garden bed and stuff again. Okay, so setting one aside. Okay, just for example's sake, so I've got 3 here ready to go, and I'm just chopping it into bite-sized pieces. And again, we've got another glass container here.
And people always ask us where we get these containers. They're just from IKEA. Like, that's where we get them. So,
yeah, in the marketplace area there. They were glass with lids, and lids are interchangeable with certain sizes. It just made sense to us to get. And add that to the composter pile with the seeds.
that gets fed to the microbes.
That's right.
Because even they gotta eat.
Yes. So to help with those microbes, I stopped by a horse feed store and got bedding wood chips.
There's a horse feed store in the area?
Yes, just down a couple blocks. So
I had no idea.
yeah, so the microbes grow with those wood chips, and they break down with the food. All right, for demonstration's sake, I think I got the bottom of this a little wet, but we'll wipe that before we put it in the fridge because it can smell.
But this is ready to go in the fridge, all sealed, and here we go.
Perfect.
All right, so the blender's out. We haven't seen the Vitamix in a long time. We only use this anymore to make cheese sauce, right?
Yes, so this is a cheese sauce that we all love,
Yes.
including our son, and so versatile as far as from burritos to over pasta. This really fits the bill for so many things.
So this is our cashew cheese sauce, and Lex grew up on this. We've tried so many other ones. Nothing beats this. And here's how you make it. If you have a Vitamix or a high-speed blender, you do not need to soak the cashews. So it's 2 cups of cashews, right? But if you don't have a high-speed blender, then you got to soak them for at least 2 hours and then rinse them and drain them. We're not doing that. We don't need to. All right, 2 cups of cashews.
Perfect.
After that, we're adding 2.5 cups of water. The whole recipe uses 3.5 cups, but 2.5 cups goes in right here in the blender.
At this point.
Yes.
Okay.
After that, we need a tablespoon of lemon juice.
Perfect.
So our lemons, of course, are frozen. We've said this before in cubes, and we just thaw them out as we need them. And a little extra.
Tablespoon.
Yeah, that's good.
Won't hurt anything to have a little bit more.
All right, so next we're going to put in heaping teaspoons of the next few ingredients. So we're going to start with garlic powder. So a lot. I put in a little bit more than that.
Next, we have granulated onion. And again, heaping.
That's good right there. You do a little more if you want.
Just a little bit more.
You can't have too much onion powder. I mean, hello. And then on this, it's just a teaspoon. It doesn't have to be heaping. So we've got paprika next, and we're using just a teaspoon of paprika.
All right, next, teaspoon of salt.
All right, so the next ingredient, it's a jar of spiced, well, it's just a jar of pimentos. We're using these Goya spiced pimentos. This is $1.25 at Fry's, or it used to be. And I mean, it's
Or it could be for something at Sprouts.
At Sprouts, it's like $2.50, $3. So you kind of have to like get it in the cheapest place you can. And I just dumped the whole thing right in with the water and everything, just kind of all in there. And there you go for that. And we used to save these jars, but like
We have enough of them
Yeah,
now. So.
And then after that, the last ingredient is half a cup of nutritional yeast. So we're going to dump that in.
Perfect.
All right. So
we're using the non-fortified, like least expensive we can
people
get.
are always like, what brand do you use? Whatever's in the Sprouts bin, like the bulk bin,
bulk
we
section.
scoop it out at Sprouts. That's how we get it. Although
Just because we go through so much.
we've had so much of it, but they've now told us they're not doing that in bulk anymore.
Interesting.
So we may have to start getting a brand. But anyway, we're going to take this whole thing, put the cap on it, put it on the base, and we're going to blend it for 2 full minutes at high speed.
2 minutes.
Full minutes. It should be creamy. Let's
Perfect.
do it.
Okay, nice and creamy. Now, with all those cashews, Joey, I started on low and then gradually worked my way up to full speed.
I don't do that. I just do full speed all the way.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to dump in this whole thing, and then the recipe at this point calls for another cup of water.
Okay.
So we're going to take these...
This does seem runny enough where I don't need a spatula. Like, it's all coming out.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this and dump it in there and kind of swish it around.
I love it.
So, this, let me get this.
Just pour it.
Well, the two of us together?
No, just pour it, I got it.
All right.
Who's stronger, though?
I know, but see, all that has to come off.
I know.
All right, there we go. All right, well, there you go.
Oh my gosh. I have never seen...
That's why I said 2 of us, it ain't going to work. All right. All right, here you go. We're just kind of moving this around, trying to get it all in there, and get out all that extra. And eventually, it's in there.
All right. Good point, good technique, Joey. All right, we're using a little induction cooktop here. Works awesome with cast iron. I think, I've got a spatula spoon out, but really a whisk is going to be better.
So you need both, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, because it needs to be thick, and you won't really know that with the whisk. Here's what you have to do. You have to, stir this every couple of seconds so it doesn't burn.
Okay.
And the minute it starts to bubble, right? You start to see the bubbles coming up, and it starts to boil, it's done. You got to shut it off.
Okay,
all right?
perfect.
So that's what we're doing. And this, with the induction cooktop, it's going to happen really fast.
Okay.
And Tim's just grabbing some jars. We're going to store it in, like, a smoothie jar, a smoothie bowl, a mason jar, and then, like, an oatmeal jar. So it'll make 2 jars full.
Perfect. I could use a warm workout. I did legs this morning.
All right, so you can see it. Let's stop for a second. You can see it's starting to bubble right here, right? Yeah, so we need to turn it down a little bit.
Turn it down, or are we done?
Turn it. Well, we're done, but let's turn it down a little bit. You should see it here. Look, how it's much thicker. Do you see that?
Yes.
It's like thick. So it's in a really good place right here.
Okay, let's turn it off then.
All right, let's turn it off.
One thing nice about using the canning jars is that it can handle some heat. So from here we can pour it into the jars via funnel.
All right, so we'll just go ahead and pour it in this right here, and then we've got these mason jar funnels with these huge like openings right there, because we ain't gonna mess around with this little drip funnel thing, and we just dump it right in here. All right, so you ready to give this a shot?
Yes.
All right. You go ahead and pour, and then I'll.
You want to stabilize?
Yeah, go ahead. Just don't get it on me, but yes. There you go. Get it in. All right, let's stop right there. All right, stay right there. I'm gonna switch to this one right here, and we'll pop this in here. Oop. The spatula in there.
Lose the spatula.
All right, a lot messier than I thought it would be. And that is 1.5 jars, or 2 full jars, but they're different sizes. All right, so you can see here we've got 2 beautiful jars of this stuff. Very, very nice. Nice and thick here, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not going to put the lids on these yet because they're hot. So we'll let it come to room temperature, or maybe just a little hotter than that. And then we'll throw the lids on it and throw it in the fridge. It may form a skin on top, but that's okay. We just mix it up when we use it, and it's fine. And these 2 jars will last us the whole week. They just act as queso, which is how we use it, right? Wherever we use queso cheese or nacho cheese, this is what we use that.
Or if we need cheese for a cheese macaroni?
Yep, wherever we normally have like liquidy cheese. So, all right, cheese done. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yes.
All right, we're going to be preparing overnight oats mostly. I just keep my oats in a big jar here. And I just buy them in bulk, so I don't really buy a brand, but it's just the old-fashioned oats, and they're organic. So, it's a 4-day work week, because Monday we're off for Veterans Day, so I'm just going to fill up 4 here. And then Tim's making something else that's similar to oats that we're trying for the first time. We're using lupini flakes, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Well, lupini is a bean out of Italy. And I can't ignore the protein content out of this. It's 12 grams of protein
For 80 calories.
For a quarter of a cup. Yes.
That's a lot.
So I just thought for breakfast, I ordered the flakes. Let's try this, and then when we do our outro tomorrow, I'll let you know if this is a thumbs up or not.
When you see us after all this, we'll tell you how it went.
So
We've never used this stuff before, so I don't know what to expect. Lupini beans are the highest protein beans you can get.
Right. No fat, low on carbs.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm using the strongest recipe we have, and that's this chocolate recipe. So it should be able to mask that. if it is a bad flavor.
All right, so we're going to start for my oat recipe. This is my standard recipe that I have, and it's 1/2 a cup of oats. So again, I've got my funnel here, so I'm just using that so it doesn't get all over the place. And Tim's going to make basically the same recipe, but instead of the oats, he's using the lupini beans. After that, I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of PB Fit or any powdered peanut butter into each one of these. So 1, 2, and I'm just going to do that to each one. There we go. I'm going to clean up a little bit here. All right, since Tim's is going to get the same ingredients I am, I'm just going to make them all the same. So let's get his lupini beans in now. He's getting 1/4 cup of those. You can see here, they're just flakes, right? I don't know how this is going to taste, but let's find out. And we've decided to add 1/4 cup of oats to Tim's. So what we're doing is just splitting the oats and the lupini beans. Instead of having 1/2 cup of oats, we're just doing 1/4 and 1/4. And it will give you the macros and all that at the end. And then I'm just going to give him the 2 spoonfuls of this here, so he's caught up. All right, so now all of them are the same. Next, we're putting in the Earth Gym chocolate protein powder. This is our favorite. We absolutely love that it's not grainy. It's all made with good stuff. There's a link in the description below this video where you can save 10% on all Earth Gym products, and if you spend over $45, you get free shipping. And I'm going to put in 2 scoops of the chocolate protein powder in each one of these. We've tried a bunch of different ones, but really Earth Gym is the one we like. And it's the one I keep going back to. It really is the lowest of calories for each gram. So here's what I did with this. This still needs banana, milk, and vanilla, but that's the wet ingredients. I do all of that the morning I'm going to use that, because I'm not going to put a banana in here for 4 days. It'll just rot, right? It'll turn brown. And I don't like it when it's been oversaturated. So in the morning, I grab one of these, I slice up 1/2 a banana, I pop it in, I put in 3/4 cup of milk, and I stir in a little vanilla, and I just shake, 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 and I take it with me. So these are kind of ready to go. We're going to actually make Tim's now, because he's going to be eating it tomorrow morning or before we do the outro for this video, and we'll know exactly what it's going to taste like. I already know what these taste like. I have them every day for lunch. All right, and then Tim's sliced the banana into little coins like this, and we're just going to pop them in there. And then we're going to add about, you can add a cup of milk. It's just that it makes them, I don't like it with a cup of milk because it's too runny, but if you like your oats, more watery than thick, add a whole cup. So I'm going to add about 3/4 cup, which is really all that's actually going to fit in here. And then just a little bit of vanilla. I'm going to pop some of this in there. All right. And that's it. So I'm just going to take this and shake this up so it's all combined. I like to kind of go like this to get the milk to go up and down, and then shake it. It's looking good. And you can see here, like, there's no dry spots of protein powder or anything. It's looking pretty good. So we're going to throw this in the fridge, and then by the time we do the outro, we'll know what to expect. We're either going to love it or hate it, so there you go.
We'll taste it tomorrow.
All right, so next we're going to make our Instapot pinto beans. You can blend them together to be refried, but lately we don't do that anymore. We just eat them as pinto beans, and it all starts right here. So we're going to start with sauteing the veggies. So let's set this to saute and give that a moment to heat up, and then we'll throw the veggies in.
Yes. Veggies meaning our garlic and onion to start with.
We're going to use just a little bit of tap water just to make, we're not using oil, so just to get the saute going. All right, you can see the steam coming up here. So we're going to toss in about 1 medium onion and let that start softening up here. There you go. We'll give that a minute or 2, and then we'll toss in the garlic.
And the reason we do that is we don't want the garlic to burn.
Yeah. I'm just going to stir these around as needed so I can get this to soften up. I don't want it to burn. And if you have to add a little bit more water to it, that's okay also. I've made this for so long without using oil that I just don't want to use oil for this. All right, while that's cooking, we're going to toss in about 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. And then a can of hatch chilies, just these small, actually they're just green chilies. And I'm just going to mix that all around here. Just get that all combined. All right, I'll give those onions some time to cook.
You can also get fresh hatch chilies that are charred, and
Which we sometimes use that.
Yeah.
If we have them, just right now we don't.
So that makes the flavor a little bit more dynamic as well. But anyway, enough on chilies. But
all right, I think these onions are ready to go. So at this point, we could probably throw in our spices, right?
yes. We want to activate the spices. All right, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. We're using
The one from Costco. Yeah.
and then I'm using a chili powder blend. And again, this is 2 teaspoons. Next, to help sweat this up, we're using a teaspoon of salt.
Oh, we can smell it. It smells like chili. All right, so we're going to shut the heat off on this now. All right, so next we're going to toss in 1 pound of dry beans. They're wet because I washed them, but they're just dry beans, and it's 1 pound.
And you do want to wash them because occasionally you can get some stones in there or debris. So it's good to wash that up. All right, you can see a little bit of spices sticking to the bottom. So we're scraping that fond. That's all the flavor that we're gonna want and need. Okay, we've mixed that up.
All right, so the last ingredient is the water, right?
Yes, I have 6 cups.
So in the Instant Pot, the ratio for beans and water, for dry beans and water, whatever kind of beans it is always 1 cup of beans, 6 cups of water. Even if you're cooking chickpeas, it's the same thing. All right, so we have everything we need in here. So I'm gonna set this to sealing position right here. Do manual 35, and there we go. So you want to make sure this comes to temperature. Sometimes the Instant Pot doesn't. That thing has to pop up and come to temperature and do its cooking.
Yep. And again, this is high pressure we're setting it.
Yeah. All right, we'll see when it's done. All right, so this thing is done cooking. You can see the little thing inside there is dropped in. So all the pressure's out. I've let it just sit for about 20 minutes after it was done cooking. And let's see what we got. Every time we cook these beans, they just smell up the whole house like it's I don't know, like it's just a bean dinner. It's so good. Holy smoke. Look at all that right there. Look at all that goodness. This is our go-to bean recipe. It has been for years. Lex grew up on these beans right here and our cheese sauce we made earlier. Those are the 2 things he's had his whole life. All right, here's what you can do with this. Originally, we used to make these refried beans. We would take out all but like 1 cup of the water, take a stick blender, and just blend it all up right here into refried beans. Eventually, we stopped doing that. We just like the beans by themselves. So I'm just going to take them out, put them in a storage container, and they'll be ready to go. All right, so here's what I do here. I use a spider to cut the beans out, but then I do put water in it to cover it and keep them fresh all week. I just don't dump the whole thing in, though, because it just splashes everywhere. All right, and we'll use these all week to make burritos. I just throw them on top of potatoes also with the cheese sauce. It comes out really good. But Lex just likes this and the cashew cheese in his burritos, and it's a really great kind of whole food meal, except for the burrito shell, of course.
Yes, and this keeps him from going to Taco Bell. He would much rather eat this.
Yeah, he grew up on this, so this is his favorite. But, you know, he will eat Chipotle if it's available, but really this is what he wants right here. All right, so I'm down to just the water, so I'm going to pour enough water in here just to cover. And I just don't want it to splash on me, which is why I didn't just do it earlier. All right, you can see the water just kind of covering that up, and then I'll just like keep them in the juice. That water, the aquafaba there from this, that's all like the cooking liquid. That's got all this flavor and the spices in it, so I want to keep the beans in that. I don't want to dry them out. All right, and this is from IKEA. We'll just throw the cover on it, get this in the fridge. And beans are ready. All right, and the last thing for this week is we already made seitan. There's a link right here to the recipe. Check it out after the video is over. And it's just our regular seitan recipe. And you can kind of see it just looks like chicken, right? There you go. We just pulled the whole thing apart and separated it. And there you go. There you go. So what I like to do with this is I put the cover on it, and stuff like this I don't always break into preset portions, so I'll just put a piece of blue tape on top of this right here, and I'll snap this in, put a piece of blue tape on top of this, and I weigh out the whole thing, right? It's not always the same weight because sometimes there's more water than other times, so the weight might be different. But I know I'm getting 13 servings out of this in order to get whatever my macros are on this that I have on the recipe. So when I set this all up and I weighed it all out, breaking it down to 13 servings from the weight I had came out to 96 grams, right, per serving. So 96 grams per serving. Now I know when I'm making a serving of this for my macros in Chronometer, I just have to take out 96 servings. Sometimes it's a little less, 85. Sometimes a little more, 101. It all depends on how much water I use at the time and how much is soaked up and all that stuff. So it's not always the same amount each time, but it's pretty close, all right?
How much protein is that for that?
And I don't normally write this down, but it's 27 grams of protein per serving, and then like less than a gram of fat, and I forget how many carbs. I'll put it on the screen right here. But that is per serving, and that's because I know the whole thing makes 13 servings. If you do less servings, then you're going to have more protein and more calories. If you do more servings, then you'll have less protein and less calories. For me, I wanted the 28 grams of protein in just this, so I used 13 servings. All right, this is ready to go. That's pretty much our food prep. So let's talk about some of the things we did today.
All right, you saw what we did yesterday, so I'll give it a shake. All right, Joey, get on in and over here. I know you're excited for this.
All right, so I'm not excited for this. I'm not good with
the macros on this?
Well, I'm going to put the macros on the screen right here. So you look at those; they're pretty similar, except you get with them. When we originally made this recipe, we were using a much higher protein milk. So the way the recipe was, it was 40 grams of protein, but it was a lot more calories. Now that we're using that touch of, now that we're using that touch of almond milk, it's a lot less protein. But this does jump the protein up like 12 grams of protein.
Yeah, I do. We've just heard some things about lupini that are red flags. We're trying this out. Okay. We can always up the amount for protein.
This is an honest reaction. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
I'll let you try.
Grab a spoon. No. We'll both do it together.
All right, go ahead. I need bananas and chocolate so I get the whole effect.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want just the beans.
It's kind of clumped in there.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. All right. The question is, are you ready?
All right, let's try it. Do you taste the difference?
It's a cocoa, the chocolate. I can eat this. I don't even taste the difference, really.
I don't taste the difference either.
Woo! No. So the next serving I'll make is probably with a half a cup of lupini beans instead of the quarter cup to get more protein. This is good.
If you notice, we didn't use all lupini beans. We were apprehensive about just because it's flakes, and I don't know, they're going to do the same thing the oats do. So
I can't tell here.
This is our regular oats recipe where we put half oats, half lupini beans to get more protein. And like you just said, you can't tell the difference. Now without the oats and just lupini flakes, like I don't know, that'll be the next step.
Baby steps, right?
Right, but
so I wanted to introduce this.
Yeah, so lupini is a good option, and we bought the flakes. So, I mean, at this point, those are easy to work with.
Yeah, I think our inspiration came from the vegan festival. And I went to a panel of fitness enthusiasts who were up there. I think the director of the show...
the guy who did the Game Changers?
Game Changers, yes. So he was there. Anyway, one of his things is lupini beans, I do first thing in the morning. That's one of the high-protein dishes. You know, as far as rotating through seitan, tofu, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just one more in our arsenal of tools to have a plant-based high protein.
I mean, that's good. Just have a toolbox of all that.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the lupini was a success. All right. That's our meal prep video for today. You saw the stuff we're meal prepping. We do not go through a week without seitan anymore. Like, if I need seitan just to get by.
Oh,
so
yes.
Otherwise, I can't be successful on calories. So.
For the calories and the protein, can't beat it. And it's so good with sweet potato, the way that we're preparing it.
Having potatoes always long available to go with that is amazing. All right, that's our video for today. Hit that like button, show us some love, click on the subscribe button, click on that bell. You get notified every time we have a new video.
Yes.
Usually every Tuesday. Leave a comment below. Lupini, have you had them? Like the flakes? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, right?
Yeah, again, we hope we've inspired you at some point.
I hope you learned something.
Yeah.
All right, see you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.